And speaking of doing so much all at once, we've got to talk about one man in particular. As the Trump administration continues to dismantle the federal government or to attempt to, Doge chief Elon Musk was asked about any conflicts of interest he has while he was in the Oval Office yesterday.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No.
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
A follow-up to the Pentagon contracts. If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
And are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract.
All right, joining us now, Washington bureau correspondent for the New York Times, Eric Lipton. Eric, let's talk about these conflicts. You did some reporting today about all the ways that Elon Musk is tied up with the federal government financially. Can you help us understand the conflicts that currently exist?
Yeah, his companies he is one of the largest federal contractors in the United States. His companies over the last 5 years have received more than $15 billion worth of contracts. And just in fiscal year 2024, there was approximately $3.8 billion worth of contract awards, most of it going to SpaceX from the Pentagon and from NASA, which relies upon SpaceX to get almost everything, both astronauts, cargo, spy satellites, and other products into orbit. So he is, and then at the same time, he also has dozens of different investigations of his companies, and Tesla is the subject of auto safety investigations. The FAA is looking at the explosion of the Starship launch that happened and sent debris over the Caribbean. The National Labor Relations Board is looking at employee complaints. The SEC has a lawsuit against them. There are enforcement matters across the range of acronyms of the federal government. So he's simultaneously one of the largest federal contractors. He's the target of dozens of enforcement actions, and he has these powers over the federal government in terms of spending, employment, and regulations.
Is it clear that Donald Trump is involved in any of these decisions, that Elon Musk is potentially behind? I mean, when you talk about the mass firing of inspectors general, you got to bring up, as you did, that among those dismissed was Phyllis Fong at the Agriculture Department. Her agency had opened an investigation in 2022 into Mr. Musk's brain implant startup. It's called Neuralink. The inquiry was in progress. As of late last year, you report, according to two people familiar with it. I mean, this is just one of the instances where the person that was in charge of something that was overseeing Elon Musk no longer there. Is it clear if Donald Trump knows about the nitty-gritty here?
I mean, we don't have evidence that Musk himself has played a direct role in the firing of folks that oversee these investigations. We don't know just how much the president knows about the individual matters that his companies, that the Musk companies are, facing right now. So most of the actions that have taken place that have benefited Musk that we examined in our story, Kirsten and I, my colleague, they happened because Trump fired people, or people have left because of the change in the administration. The National Labor Relations Board, because of the people that Trump fired, no longer has a quorum. It cannot take actions to on new enforcement matters or to settle matters. So but whether or not, Trump is taking those actions to benefit Musk is unclear. But what is totally clear is that there has been significant benefit for Musk and his companies from all of the things that have happened so far.
When it's not totally clear, it means it's not fully transparent. And while there might be quite a bit of federal government waste that you can clean up, I'm sure there is. The transparency here about how it's being handled, it's just not there. We don't quite know what's going on, who's making the decisions, and who exactly is benefiting. Thank you so much for joining us, Eric Lipton. Really great reporting.